What's up, wees? Welcome back to Anime Lane, the podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. On today's episode, it's time to believe in the sign of Zeta and Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, as we cover episodes 1 through 25. Series direction and writing by Yoshiyuki Tomino, music by Shigeaki Saigusa, sorry. Animation production by Sunrise. It originally aired from March 2nd, 1985 and February 22nd, 1986. It is licensed in the UK by Anime Limited and was licensed in the US by Nozme Entertainment, but as we covered with War in the Pocket a couple of weeks ago, that's sort of up in the air. We don't really know what's going on with the American rights, but yeah, it's still available here. And I guess I'll throw in the little mention of, if you buy it anywhere outside of Japan, just doesn't have the openings or endings on it because of licensing reasons, much like Evangelion with Fly Me to the Moon. But if you buy it from Japan with the Universal Centuries Libraries re-release, all of those entries have English subtitles on them. So even if you pick up like 0079, the original Gundam series, you get episode 15, which is not released outside of Japan. Whenever they do those re-releases, you only get the 42 episodes instead of 43. So yeah, if you want to sort of circumnavigate a bunch of different fuckery things, as usual, you can do that, but it doesn't come with any of the dubs. That's the only kind of downside. So, but as always, I'm your host from Notorious, and joining me once again today, as always, is Shaun.
Camille.
They say his name so much more than anyone ever said Amuro's name in the original Gundam.
In just the first episode, was where it's like the most egregious as well. Sorry to like jump right into this.
Yeah, no, that's it. Let's just go.
But like I actively, it got so bad, I actively like did like a small edit of just every single like Camille yell that happens in that episode. It goes up to like 25, 26 if you include the next time preview. And it's like half of it is like Fa.
Yeah. She does say his name a lot in that episode. It's not just like a case of how many times it's said. That first like half of the episode is like insane in the amount of times back to back that we get that one name said. Fa says that from leaving the school, I think it is, to the spaceport when he gets into the fight with the Titans. Like, at least half of the number has to come from just that small little section itself.
Yeah, that's a whole sequence in and of itself, and like the only thing that's like of note that's really said is just Camille over and over again. It's like, okay, I know I'm not great with names, guys, sometimes when it comes to like anything, but like this is a weird way of getting me to remember the main character's name.
Yeah, you're not forgetting this one's name anytime soon.
Not if I even wanted to.
You're going to be hearing that in your sleep.
I did.
It's okay. So, reiterate, first half, episodes 1 through 25. That's currently, as of recording, all we have watched. So we literally are, well, collectively for this rewatch is all we've watched. I've obviously seen the rest of the series, but like for now, this is all we have watched for this rewatch. So for me. And
as far as I know, the colony drop has been stopped, and that's it. They saved. The war is over.
That's the extent we can talk about. There's no like, we can talk about things that potentially happen in the future because like we haven't seen that yet. Sometimes you record stuff and it's like, oh, we've kind of seen some stuff later on, but we haven't for now. And it's weird because obviously this is like pretty cleanly half of the show, and it's like so much happens, but also no, not really.
It still feels a lot like just a lot of build up.
Yeah,
which I mean, it's cool for like a character, getting to know the characters at least. Like I feel like I'm on, of all the things we've watched, especially in the shows, which again we've not watched anything like with this many episodes before. so this is new. But like, it's cool to like just have all this time to really get to know characters before like shit really does get real.
Yeah. I think like if I were I think the reason, you know, when I look back at my score for this, when I was like tracking the episodes of my anime list as I was rewatching it, I was like, oh, I only gave this a 9 out of 10. Whereas like this is one of my favorite Gundam entries, so like I was surprised it wasn't like a 10 out of 10. But then rewatching it, I was like, oh, okay, I think I can articulate now why. And it's because I rewatched the original trilogy compilation movies right before this to sort of refresh my mind, because I haven't seen them since we covered them on the podcast like 4 years ago or something like that now.
Yeah. I could have done that, but I was still too busy in my own personal minds of shit I was already watching, so I didn't. I'll say I didn't have the time, but also I remembered everything. It's fine.
Yeah, I cleared some time. I just wanted like a brief refresh of it. So rewatching it and then going immediately into Zeta like the day after finishing the third movie, it's very clear how a lot of the start of Zeta is what if we just check all the boxes of the things we did in the original Gundam. It's like, okay, the colony has people come in and attack it with mobile suits. Oh, hey, someone who kind of vaguely looks like Char.
You know, another blonde space bastard.
Is here too in a red mobile suit. They get on some new ship. They leave. They end up going to Earth. They get stuck on Earth for a while. And then they go back to space. And now a bunch of shit's happened while they've been away on Earth. And now stuff's a bit different. And, oh, look, a colony's coming.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, the colony doesn't happen in the original series. But it's sort of like there's a vague sort of like framework that the at least first 20 episodes kind of follow of. This is things that kind of happened in the original series, except they're happening with Camille now and slightly different characters, and oh hey look, Amuro's here. It very much functions in the same way at the very least, and Camille getting, you know, his idea of black and white, good and bad broken down. He gets to meet, you know, like Four, who breaks down his idea of like the Titans being purely magnanimously evil.
Which, I mean, to be fair, a lot of the time they kind of are.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
But they're also a faction within the Earth Federation, and so like not all of them are evil people.
Yeah.
And that's
but it's Emma that is the one that defects like pretty early.
Yeah, she defects like immediately, like episode 3 or something like that.
Yeah, she's like, oh, this is fucked. Not this.
And then later we get Sarah, who does it, and you know, once is one thing, right? But for it to happen a second time, everyone should have been a little like, no, don't believe that.
Yeah, like at that point, it's either a leak that they're just not plugging.
Yeah.
Or like there's very clearly something bad's gonna happen. And it was sort of weird because out of like they did the smart thing with like Sarah. We're jumping ahead a lot, but
yeah.
we're like, she's definitely the second most sympathetic Titan we'd ever met at that point.
Yeah.
Other than like maybe Emma and like Four. But like, so I was sort of like, oh, she defected. That's not too surprising. But then like as like she actually started talking, I was like, oh, you're a spy, aren't you?
Yeah. I think the problem with Sarah is that, you know, sympathetic's an interesting word, because to me, she wasn't necessarily. She more just was like, it seemed more she had a problem with Jared than like anything else that was going on. It
Hmm.
seemed her problem was pretty personal to his command, instead of like I have a inherent problem with the organization itself. It's never really shown that that's the case.
I mean, I sort of took it from just the fact that she says, "Oh, I'm not gonna kill anyone unless I'm like absolutely like have to," and I'm like, that's kind of not what these people do. You realize that?
I guess that's sort of true, yeah. But like, also that should be a soldier's thing, right? Like that should be fundamentally the core.
Yeah, like they even say that in the show. Like, well, this is a fucking like war. You realize where you are, right?
Yeah. It's like you have chosen the career where that is, in fact, necessary.
Yeah. She seemed a little confused, which was why I was like, okay, maybe her defecting isn't that surprising.
Yeah, that's true. It just sort of comes, it still sort of to me comes out a little bit of left field, where it's like, she has that one little issue, she has the personal issue with Jared, but she doesn't seem to have any sort of like overall issue with the Titans themselves. Like, at least not on an ideological level, aside from the killing things, but you know, that's...
Yeah. I mean, that is half their ideology though, from what I can tell.
Kind of, but it's more so like, the Titans are an interesting group, because
definitely
their motivations are not super clear. Like, they're an extension of the Earth Federation, because they in Zeta it said that it's to squash the Aug group.
They mentioned at one point that, like, I'm not sure if I misread this or if I've just like misremembering this, but they mentioned at some point that they were originally officially founded to hunt down the remnants of Zeon.
Yeah, so that's their original purpose, which comes from which gets expanded upon in a different OVA series. But like here it's like, okay, now our full function is hunt down the Anti-Earth Union group, and it's like, okay, I feel like you should be focusing more on the Zeon thing, realistically, than a up until this point non-aggressive. You know,
the sort. You go.
I was just gonna say, like, a non-aggressive political faction essentially is up until the point of the Titans and the Argama coming into conflict at Green Noah, has been I think it, you know, other than the rare extremist thing, a pretty civil conflict so far. Yeah,
it's from like what we can tell, it seems very much like almost like they're two different political parties, but like not quite, obviously. They're more just like actual groups. But this sort of ties into like what I kind of didn't expect going into this, which I'm not sure if I really like expressed to you, is that I kind of was expecting, from being the follow-up of like 0079 or just the original series, like I kind of did expect it to be like, oh, so the remnants of Zeon are probably still out there somewhere, and we're just waiting for them to like regroup, and we're just gonna like see what happens with them. No, not quite. It feels like that's already happened. They've already dealt with that, if that even happened at all.
Yes, no, you're kinda right.
I hate that that's the answer. Because I feel like I've let my guard down now on that front.
They've not done it a lot, but they have certainly been dropping the Zeon name at least a few times, and mentioning the remnants and stuff like that as still potentially a thing that can happen, you know. And
I do realize I'm saying this when the next episode
it's called The Ghost of Zeon.
Is Ghost of Zeon, yeah. But like, my main point was that I kind of expected that to just be the offset and just be like, oh, you know, sort of the standard plot. So to suddenly be dropped in with, here's the Aug.
Yeah, I think it's you know, like, because what is it, like 7 years have passed in universe and in real life at that point too, actually.
It's kind of fuzzy because they say 7 years, but then like you get letters and it says like 0088, which would be like 9 years.
It would be 9 years, yeah. Because to my understanding, this happens in largely 0086. Maybe crosses over to 0087. Kind of like the first series. But to my knowledge, it's 0086, yeah. So I'm sure that's what it says in the UC Libraries case as well.
Okay, then I'll take that over because like when it's stuff like letters, I can chalk that up to maybe just some sort of animation error.
Yeah,
or, like,
in-universe numbering for the Universal Century's always been kinda fuzzy. There's a lot of stuff in the original, the series that happens less so in the movies, or at least not noticeably so, where you see certain things that don't make sense in terms of years, or straight up just using the wrong date system. Like sometimes our years will turn up and it's like, no, that's not. That's
don't get this twisted. You've already done your own thing. Don't start switching back to our thing now.
But yeah, I believe it's roughly 7 years after, because I'm sure it also gets mentioned by.
Yeah, they say 7 years by like characters, so I'm gonna take that as like their word for it.
Yeah.
Especially since you're now confirming that.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm not talking shit by.
Well, you are the master here, so you know if you're wrong, death.
Yeah. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Okay, hold on. 87. Yeah, so 0087. Is roughly when this takes place. So about so I guess 7 years from the end of the 1 Year War is what they're talking about.
Which technically counts.
Yeah, technically counts.
It did end on like that day.
Yeah, it ended on New Year's Day 0080, which is just
symbolism.
Yeah. It lasted.
I love it when wars just end so symbolically like that. It's so nice of them.
Because it's also not really mentioned here, but another thing that I remembered or was reminded of when watching the original trilogy again, is the colony drop that actually ignites the 1 Year War on Australia happens on like January 30th, 0079. So it is a year war. Like it's pretty cleanly.
I mean, I feel like it's closer to just the 11 months.
It's 11 months, yeah.
The tongue does it.
But, you know, it happens within the year of 0079, so it's the 1 year war.
Sure.
That's also just the official start date. There was also skirmishes and battles going on in the build.
Yeah, I get the feeling it was building up for a while. I still haven't seen the origin yet. It's on my list now, definitely, for when we finished watching this. But, like, the whole faction war that was brewing definitely feels like it was going to happen at some point, from what I can tell.
It was brewing for a long time, because the origin starts when Char and Sayla are, like, kids. Like, 5 and 6 or something like that. Or maybe Sayla's 5 and Casval's, like, 8 or 9, because obviously he's the older sibling.
And that was Char before he was Char, right?
That was Char before he was Char, yeah, because you've got
they didn't just give him that name like as like a child.
No, because
they didn't despise him.
His name's Casval Rem Daikon.
Yeah, I say that I feel like that got brought up in like the original series, but I've clearly forgotten.
Yeah, Casval Rem Daikon. And what's Sayla's original name? Artesia Som Daikon. That's it.
That sounds about right. That sounds royal as fuck, doesn't it?
Yeah. So his dad is Zeon Zum Daikon, the founder of the ideology of Zeon. And
lovely.
That gets usurped by the Zabis and becomes the Principality of Zeon, and they establish
Which starts Char's little secret grudge.
Yeah, and then we end up with, the stuff that happens in the 1 Year War, and now we're on Char's third renaming.
Which, by the way, you've made jokes about this before, that he does pop up here as in like a completely different name, and he's totally not Char. Don't think he's Char. He looks exactly the same. He's made no effort to change anything about him other than his name, but he's not Char.
He's adamant for so long that he's not Char.
The way you've joked about this before to me, I thought the show would actually try and like make it a thing to hide.
No,
they don't. He is just Char.
He is just Char. The only conceivable way that you might believe that this is not Char fucking Aznable is if you hadn't watched the original Gundam, which I guess with 7 years real time having passed, maybe people who watched it airing at the time hadn't seen the original. But yeah, no, if you've seen the original Gundam, if you're at all familiar with Char Aznable, especially being voiced by fucking Shuichi Ikeda, who has an insanely distinctive voice, the moment he shows up, even if you go, oh, he's just, blonde, maybe he's piloting a red mobile suit because he idolizes Char, and then he talks and you're like, nah, that's just Char.
No, for me, it's the sunglasses. It's always the sunglasses.
Now, to be fair, the sunglasses don't show up for a bit in the first episode. When we largely see him in the first episode, he's in the suit with the helmet on, doesn't have the glasses. Okay. So you can sort of, until he speaks,
I mean, but it's not even subtle.
It's not. But he spends far too long denying it.
Yeah. Now that you reminded me, by the way, I didn't bring this up when we were watching this, moment of sadness for the Red Comet. It gets got, like, pretty soon.
Yeah. It's funny that they give him the iconic red mobile suit, as if just to say, this is Char.
Look.
This is Char. And then immediately get it got just to give him the only other color that is a more ostentatious upgrade from red to fucking gold.
I know, right? Like, goddamn, he just couldn't help himself, could he? He's repping the McDonald's colors. That sponsorship went deep.
Also, it's not the Red Comet, it's a Rick Diaz that gets blown up. He's called the Red Comet. That's his,
Okay, so that did confuse me for a second, because I did remember him specifically being called the Red Comet, but then, like, they started talking about, like, the mech, and I was like, oh, I must have misremembered.
No, they're talking more about, like, the legend of Char at that point, if I recall correctly. Because they do say, like, Char, the Red Comet, and in a way where I'm like, yeah, okay, like, we get it. He's Char.
He's the guy. He's the one nobody seems to shut the fuck up about in this fandom.
He's just that guy.
I hate that he is the most interesting character throughout all of these episodes.
Well, that's, it's the first time that he's shown to be maybe a little more complex than the guy who's getting revenge.
Like, yeah, because from my POV, it definitely seems like he's matured in those 7 years. Like, he's definitely... I don't know if this is going to be completely proved bullshit in the next, like, half, obviously, but from my point of view, it's like maybe he's self-reflected a bit. Maybe he's had time to, like, think about, what do I actually want? Like, now that I've gotten the thing that I want.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is certainly a case of, he's well, not necessarily flipped sides, because the Oog are still kind of anti-Federation, but it's less of a blood coup like the Zeon War.
The thing is, and I remember noting this when we were watching the original series, is that, like, on the surface level, removing the fascistic ideology behind it, Zeon kind of has a point in the sense of,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
self-determination.
Mhm.
Like, it definitely seems like the Earth Federation is much more concerned on Earth itself and
Mhm.
maybe things around it than just, like, any of the space colonies. So
Yeah.
on the surface, it makes sense. It's just, Zeon were the space Nazis.
Yeah.
So they were just, clearly evil.
Yeah.
But now that they're gone, Zeta has gone in the very interesting direction of, okay, no, this is still a good point of conflict here
Mhm.
between, like, an actual faction that takes the self-determination thing seriously
Yeah.
versus the Earth Federation. And it turns out that makes the Earth Federation the bad guys, or at the very least this extremist group that basically takes them over
Mhm.
pretty easily.
I mean, even as far back as the original series, you kind of had, some of the people on the white base questioning the intent of the Federation and, like, yes, in this instance, the Xeon are wrong. We need to deal with them. However, once this is over, are we on the good side? Are
Yeah,
we the
like,
bad guys?
we lucked out here, but, like, if they didn't decide to, be space Nazis, would we really be wanting to fight them? And it's, like, the most interesting thing I think Zeta has done, and I'm really glad on it. I just wish the whole I can't believe I'm saying that. I really wish the whole sci-fi politics thing was more of a focus.
Yeah, it's sort of the weirdly restrictive thing that they do where you kind of don't notice it until you're on Earth and Quattro, totally not Char, gets punted back into space and Camille's left behind, that the show's pretty exclusively restricted to his POV.
Yeah.
And that's interesting when he encounters 4 and has that whole little arc. For the rest of it, though, I'd much rather see what's going on in space. And
yeah, agreed.
The political aspect of it. Because if there's any time that you're gonna expand the POV and look at different things, it's that moment where Camille's broken off from the Argama, from his crew, from his friends, and left alone to deal with all this stuff. He's journeying through, like, Earth with Caraba or whatever they're called, and, like, that's only it's only interesting to a certain degree. So at that point, you should take the opportunity to go, okay, so here's what's going on external to all of this. We'll come back to Camille in a bit. He'll reach his destination and something will happen there and we'll come back. But for now, let's see what the Argama's doing up at the moon. What's politically going on with the Federation and the Titans. But no, we have to stick with Camille because that's what we did in the original show with the white base touring the world.
Yeah. And it kind of falls into the thing the original series did. Like, it felt less obvious watching the movies, but, like, I know for a fact, when you realize it was originally a show, it becomes obvious that, like, they do a sort of, not villain of the week, but sort of villain of the arc, or villain of the couple of episodes, because a lot of the Titans, or at least a handful of the Titans, do die over the course of, like, these 25 episodes. You have, is it Lila?
Oh, Lila?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not Lala.
No, not
Different
Lala.
character.
Lala gets brought up a lot, but not her.
But, she's still dead, but, like, maybe kind of a ghost? It's hard to tell.
New type ghost.
The fuck is a new type, am I right? But yeah, I'll call her Lila. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that.
I don't know.
Yeah. She feels like she was gonna be, like, the second, like, main Titan character, and then she dies.
Just immediately.
Within, like, 5 episodes, I'm like, oh fuck, we're left with fucking Jared now? That's great. Love that.
Yeah. Fucking failing upwards, that guy.
Yeah, I love that I hate him. He's a great character to hate. He's like Char without any sort of charm whatsoever.
Char with no aura.
Yeah, exactly. I've been calling him Gundam Homelander just from like personality wise. Because wow, you're just a failure of a human being, huh? But so we're stuck with him now. But then he gets what's the next one's name? It's like his commanding officer or whatever who dies.
Oh, the one who Camille shoots down when they're going into Earth. Don't remember his name.
You see, exactly. That's how fast these things come and go. I remember his design, I think.
Yeah, he's like the slightly older one who's keeping Jared in check, pretty much.
Yeah, which is why he had to die.
Which is why you had to die. Yeah. But yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, but like, it sort of just falls into that similar thing. Like, even 4 is sort of an enemy, quote unquote, for like a few episodes and like an arc before she like dies. Even though she keeps popping up in the second OP. I know you're saying well, and even I, to be fair, even I've gotten the feeling of she's gonna show up again at some point. Like this character's way too fucking important to die like right here this fast. We can't do Lala again. We can't.
His name was Capricorn.
I knew
it was a dumb Gundam name.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna pretend I feel bad for forgetting his name. I don't care.
Capricorn Kakular.
Cool.
Also, Mauer, who he's like with now.
Oh yeah.
Their last name's Pharaoh. So, you know, a Jamaican's last name is Danigan, which is more normal than his first name.
Yeah, like his first name is Jamaican, which of course I've read it the first few times as Jamaican because it's just spelled Jamaican.
It's just spelled the same. I thought that too until I was watching just an episode where someone happens to say the name isolated enough for me to pick it out in the sentence, because like I'm pretty good at picking out words in Japanese and sentences because I'm learning Japanese.
You're much better than me.
Yeah. And so like it, you know, it's easy to do once you know more of the language, but like Jamaican I just kept missing in the sentence whenever it came up. And then I heard that and I'm like, sure, I guess.
Honestly, I prefer it instead of them just calling him Jamaican because like that as a name feels kind of just on the edge of I don't think you could. That feels kind of derogatory. But so yeah, Jamaican, and the only name I've been able to like pick out sort of like the pronunciation, I think I'm probably about to fuck it up. It's like is it Sirocco?
Scirocco.
The current one. Sirocco.
Scirocco.
Scirocco. Okay.
It's I guess technically in English it wouldn't be that, but the sort of like SI sound in Japanese is she. So it's like Scirocco rather than Sirocco, which
that makes sense.
To me sounds better, but I don't know if it's just because I'm used to that pronunciation at this point.
Yeah, I kept thinking it was Sirocco, but Scirocco. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Scirocco. Fuck. I don't want to say. I keep wanting because I'm trying to fight myself not saying like just Sirocco or something like that, which is just completely wrong. So I'm overcompensating.
That's right.
Scirocco. Cool. He's not died yet, and I kind of hope he doesn't because he seems like the most interesting Titan so far. In that he's still evil as fuck, but you know he's doing like a Char thing where he's got his own reason for being a dick.
Yeah. He also seems to be, of the Titans, the most new type one so far, which sort of, not really, but mostly, to a certain degree, evens the playing field a little bit. Because the Argama has Camille, Char, who's like a low-level new type, but kind of is more just a very skilled pilot than anything else.
Yeah, Char's just sort of like a new type that really doesn't give enough of a fuck to like develop it any further.
Emma, who's shown a bit of the abilities, and Fa hasn't really shown them, so that's...
It's kind of hard to... I mean, I say that, it's mostly in conjunction with Camille, who's like the most new type we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in these episodes she's gonna just pop up and be like, oh yeah, I've sort of got them too, because every person on this ship seems to be developing these abilities.
I think there's something, and I don't know if this is like a headcanon of mine, where it's, if you are around new types for a long enough time, if you're in enough like high stress situations with them, you're fighting alongside them and stuff, I think, again, I think this might just be my own headcanon, you're more likely, more predisposed to also start developing the abilities and become a new type yourself.
I believe that, because the whole thing about new types so far is that it's very much a whole connection thing, which is a lot more interesting to compare to something like, I've been watching a lot of Star Wars recently, so you know this is going to be my point of view. It's different from being like force sensitive, where just a certain number of people just have it from birth, and that's it. You're either born special or you're not.
Yeah, you're you either have the genetics or you don't.
Yeah. Or more accurately, I guess, mutants in Marvel. I know it's not exactly the same, but just sort of like, you've got a certain gene that just makes you that thing. Whereas I do like that interpretation of like your headcanon, where like it's just sort of a thing that can happen, just depending on if you're in space long enough or if you're around other new types or whatever, and it manifests in these different sort of strengths depending on how you like deal with it. And then you've got stuff like cyber new types, which at first I thought were new types who were enhanced with cybernetics because that would be cool as fuck.
Yeah.
No, apparently not.
Yeah, so it's always a thing that I've been confused about since I first watched Zeta, as to like, why are they called cyber new types? I'm putting emphasis on the cyber when I should be putting emphasis on the new type part, because they're fundamentally not new types. They are people who have been modified, enhanced, to have things similar to new type abilities, but are not distinctly themselves new types prior to these enhancements.
Augmentations to like sort of replicate the idea, yeah. Which is also interesting. I don't want to like say it isn't. It's just, you know, it's kind of unclear what that is, just from like when we start getting introduced to them, because Zeta loves to do this thing where it just drops a concept on you and refuses to explain.
And it wasn't until I caught that they weren't saying the word new type at all whenever cyber new types were coming up, that I was like, okay, what specifically are they saying then whenever they say cyber new types? And it's Kyoka Ningen, which basically just means, quite literally, enhanced person, enhanced human, enhanced individual, where, you know, however you want to translate like the word Ningen as human person, it refers to people as humans as a concept, basically. So I was like, okay, that makes way more sense now, that it is something that's striving to force like develop new type stuff, and it explains why whenever like cyber new types encounter genuine new types, there's almost like a meeting of opposing forces where they immediately like bounce off each other. They're repelled and repulsed by each other.
The moment you like actually described it to me like that, I sort of put it like when you put like two sides of like a magnet and try to like put them together. It's like it's not quite quite the same allegory, obviously, but like it's like a new type can sense that like, oh, you're not quite what it is. You're like something that's like, you're not like a natural sort of thing. So like, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna repel you,
Mm-hmm.
which is why it makes so much sense that 4 gets like such a visceral reaction every time like a battle starts and like the new type abilities just start like
Mm-hmm.
flashing basically.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand what was going on there until you like stated like what the actual deal was. So I was like, okay, cool. I would have liked for the show to sort of explain that a little more, but I'll take this. I think what I've sort of just described there is probably so far my biggest problem with Zeta. Stress enough. I'm loving what we're seeing so far. It's like really good, and I am really engaged with what's going on, and there is another half of the show to still go. So I can't really say this is like a definite failing on the show's part. It's just it really leans into just dropping you into like the situation and just refusing to elaborate what anything greater is actually going on.
Yeah.
Which makes it really hard for me to like get my footing on what's actually happening sometimes.
It's one of those things where it's a very sort of back half filled show. A lot of stuff becomes like way clearer later because there's still pieces that aren't on the board yet, and it's only when those pieces are on the board that things will start clicking more into like making sense and being clearer. It is a problem with trying to sort of play a game of moral gray conflicts while not trying to really put across each side's like fundamental ideological beliefs.
Yeah.
Because another thing that sort of to come back to my headcanon about new types is that the reason I think the Argama also has so many new types, not just because they had Camille, who's the most new type to ever have new typed, but because you have to have some kind of fundamental I don't want to say goodness because I feel like that's too like black and white, but you have to have something inherently within you that makes you want to be connected with other people, and that's why you have to be not necessarily selfless entirely, but certainly not an incredibly selfish person. And I think that's why the Argama has so many new types coming like to the fore, because they're a group of people who just want to sort of like make better for the people who live in space, whereas the Titans by comparison are pretty much individualistic people. They are very selfish. They're all kind of self-driven, and so the only person currently that we know to be a new type within the Titans, at least that we see most often, is Shiroko. And it's, you know, he seems to be quite a capable new type. He can see the details of a battle from pretty far from it, but yet none of that seems to be spreading, affecting, and causing other people within his group to be developing those abilities. And so it's like that would be an interesting thing to kind of explore as to like, why are the Titans, you know, so driven this way? Why are the Oog so driven this way? What's the political thing going on? Again, it comes back to the fact that it's never really interesting in looking at the space politics.
Yeah, which again is the other thing that annoys me, because I said it, so I can't believe this, I'm saying it earlier, but I absolutely can believe I'm saying this because I fucking love sci-fi politics in my story. One of the best things I love about the Star Wars prequels is seeing the Republic turn into, basically fall and turn into that, and it's why Andor and like Rogue One is so good, because it actually delves into the actual politics of the conflict we're fighting here. And I kind of hoped Zeta would be doing that a little bit more than it currently is doing.
Yeah.
I still hope that it's gonna dive into that later on, obviously, especially now that Shaun has become the leader of the AU, like at the time of these episodes.
Yeah, he's been asked by the guy who got.
Blex.
That's it.
For the longest time, I thought he was like not Bright, but like the other sort of captain on like.
Oh yeah, I can see why they're both sort of like they
have very similar designs to me, and like from what I remember.
The main difference is Blex has like a beard, and that's like kind of the only real difference between.
But the other guy has a beard.
I think it's Blex's is much more like part of his face, whereas I think the other guy has like the sort of like pencil thin.
It's sort of like framing his face more than anything. He shaves like the inner part. That's the difference. So I kind of had like a big reaction when Blex died because I thought he was dying.
Yeah, that's.
And I was like, oh, I actually got to know that guy. That guy was cool. I can't believe they killed him all. And then he showed up again, like alive and well, like an episode later, and I was like, what the fuck? Who's this guy? Oh, never mind.
No, they couldn't kill the other captain because he's head over heels for Emma. I think it's Emma.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Gonna be honest, like right now, don't like that. Okay, the third problem I have with Zeta then. I don't like how there's such a focus on romance. I don't know if that's just a thing that like is pretty noticeable to me, but I don't like romance when it's just not needed. And it feels like a lot of the romances here just aren't really. They're done more for the sake of, oh, there's a male character, there's a female character. Let's try and pair them up.
I think if I'm trying to think the best way to like put it. I think it's to try and like show.
You can call me an idiot for this.
No, I'm not. I don't. That's not what I'm trying to say. Like the way I kind of see it is, it's a way to try and show like when you have so many. I'm saying so many. Like there's not that many people on the Artemis.
Yeah, but they're all huddled around in like an enclosed space.
Yeah.
I understand that part definitely. I feel like the original series did that concept a little bit better. Yeah. Which is weird to say because there was a lot of toxicity in those.
Yeah. I mean, that's my main problem with like the trilogy movies is that it cuts out just so much of Mirai and Bright's developing romance that when there's the girl who's spying for Zeon ends up on White Base and Kai's like hiding her in his room. She had been in Bright's room and she finds the ring that Bright was going to propose with, which up until that point there had been one scene in the same movie of them having some kind of like private confidant meeting, not even a like romantic thing. They just like go off to the bay, the fucking where they keep the mobile suits. What's it called?
The hangar port.
The hangar. Thank you. They got the hangar. Yeah. Just to talk about Amuro. And like how.
Oh yeah, because that's when they're discussing like. Is that when they're discussing his like new type thing? Yeah. And that's when it really starts to come up. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, and like that's the first moment in the movies where you see that something is like really going on between Mirai and Bright, and then the next scene that it comes up is a ring in Bright's drawer, and then the next scene it comes up is him finding out she has a fiance.
Fuck.
And then it kind of just doesn't come up again. In fact, he just gets super pissed off at her about it.
Yeah, he acts like a dick.
As in the movies, it makes kind of like no sense. But and also like Hayato and Frau's relationship makes no sense in the movies either.
I completely forgot they were a thing at all until I started getting to their episodes in here, and I was like, oh, did they get together?
Yeah.
Hold on. Well, first off, I asked, who the fuck is Hayato? But like, second off, I was like, oh yeah, this guy, like Amuro's friend, I think.
Yeah, they were kind of friends, kinda. I think. Sorta.
It felt a lot stronger with just Amuro and Frau from what I remember.
Yeah, it's kind of the weird thing of like, again, the way the movies cut it is that like, Frau falls for a guy who turns up on the ship during the last movie, who's just a complete dick, Slagger Law. She kisses him, he dies, and then out of nowhere, her and Hayato are like incredibly close, and it's like two scenes that happen in the movies that really convey it.
That's like peak pair the spares.
Yeah, it's, you know, I think the way I see it now is, if you're ever gonna watch the original series, is you have to watch the original series, like the 43 episodes, and then like watch Encounters in Space, the third movie, as like a companion piece to that, because I think that's a more rounded out experience than just trying to watch the movies where so much is cut that like none of it makes sense. But to come back to the point of like romances here, again, I think it's that sort of, maybe because they knew they weren't gonna get cancelled this time, they're playing much more of like a long haul game of like, what, let's build the characters, let's do burgeoning romances, let's do all this sort of stuff so that we can make things feel more fleshed out, more three-dimensional, and so when things start really happening later on, you'll feel the effects of everything that happens, whatever that may be.
The groundwork has been laid. And again, the thing to stress more than anything is, again, this is just the first half. There's still a second half to go. But I guess for me, it's just sort of frustrating that, like, I wish there was just any main female character here that didn't have a love interest or did not care to get romance. And so far it seemed to have been Emma, but now they keep signposting that something's gonna happen with her because she gets a fucking fortune whatever that says you're gonna get proposed to at some point soon. And I'm like, I really hope you don't.
Yeah, I mean, she says that she doesn't want to get married, and that you know, dispirits the other captain. But then she sees that fortune.
But I'm terrified the show's gonna do a thing where, like, oh, but she really does want to do that. She just doesn't realize it yet, which is, you know, a trope I fucking hate in fiction.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay, yeah, Rekoa has Char. Yeah. I was like,
sure.
Rekoa doesn't have but Rekoa does not show up very much at this point.
No. And she doesn't show up, and like, she is distinct enough, like, where you're not gonna confuse her with Emma most of the time, but they're like also similar enough where, like, you can point to one of them and get their name wrong, and I wouldn't blame you. Camille fucking confuses them at one point in one of the later episodes we've watched, and I was like, you know what? If you're also confusing them, I don't feel too bad.
Again, you know, like you say, first half, so hopefully, like, I kind of remember the end of the show. I don't remember too much of, like, the finer details, but this is going back like 8-ish years since I watched Zeta. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens again in the second half, but I'm also happy to be rewatching this one in a timely manner because I took fucking forever to watch the show originally, and with a clear head, because the first time I watched it, I watched the first half and I stopped once I think I got to episode 25, or maybe I got to the point of the Zeta showing up and stopped for a bit. Because I just was not in a great headspace, was not going through a good time. And so I came back like 6 months later and finished the show. And like at the time was getting better, but still, like, you know.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh yeah, I get to appreciate what they're doing here. And see it with clearer eyes. I still have like I say, it feels like a checklist of here's the things we did in
the original
series. And we'll get past that and then we'll do our own thing. And I feel like we're sort of starting to get to that point now here at the end of the first half, where they're like, let's drop a colony again, which it's just crazy the amount of times in the first half of this series alone the Antarctic Treaty is just completely disregarded and no one mentions that.
isn't that just realistic? Superpowers just to fucking ignore these treaties, like, and just do whatever the hell they want.
Sure, but like in the space of like 3 months, there's been the chemical attack at Colony 30, which just precedes the series a little bit. There has been the nuclear detonation of Jaburo, the former headquarters of the Earth Federation forces, and now an almost colony drop on Von Braun City on the moon, which is the biggest or the capital. I don't know. It's the most important city on the moon, apparently.
Yeah.
Only narrowly avoided. 3 months. Like 3-4 months max that this has all happened in, and no one's really going
Yeah, there's not been like any sort of like accountability panel or whatever at like the whatever the World Parliament was in Africa.
I
don't think that was fully what it was, but it was the only insight we've gotten to anything like that, so I'm grappling onto it because it's something, goddammit. But that whole scene basically just serves to show, though, that like the Titans have basically committed a coup within the Federation forces, and now they're just completely taken over. Which that sounds about right at this point.
And like, I think the reason it never gets brought up at that like meeting thing, Parliament, whatever it is because that's the point where we find out, the Earth Federation forces is just fully Titan occupied at this point. It is just the Titans now.
Which again, fascinating. Loving that, actually. It's so cool to see like a more, it's becoming, when you look at the Titans, it is still kind of black and white, but like it's still a lot more gray than what Zeon and the Federation forces was last time. So it is like the most compelling part of the series to me. It's good to see that. But it also just sort of shows that, like, there's no way there's not going to be there's no way that there's going to be a panel on all those war crimes that are being committed because they captured the fucking war crime tribunal.
They're dead. They executed them. They're gone.
No, they're going to hold them for hostage because, god fucking damn, they love holding people and places hostage in these episodes. Like, it happens. It's their MO.
Yeah.
They just keep doing it.
And again, that's kind of realistic.
Yeah, but it just happened. It's just kind of funny after a while that you're like, Camille's parents are taken hostage. Faz's parents are taken hostage. The city of the Federation forces bases that got nuked. Jaburo.
Oh, Jaburo.
Jaburo basically gets taken hostage. Von Braun gets taken hostage. The city.
Yeah.
Four's memories get taken hostage. Like, goddamn, you gotta do something else, guys. You gotta switch it up just a little bit.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to bring up, but I think we've kind of covered most of it.
We haven't talked about Amuro at all.
Oh, we haven't. But, like, the show's sort of a little uninterested in Amuro, oddly enough.
No, yeah. Which I don't know if I'm, like, heavily annoyed at, because that's the main character, the last one. Don't just ignore him. I want to see what's going on with him. Why is he in a mansion? How did he get so rich?
And
then we later find out he's basically being spied on in this place and being confined there.
Yeah, he's basically being kept captive by the Federation because, and again, I guess that builds into my headcanon about new types, is it's like they're scared of what he can do as a new type, and so he's...
Oh, they're absolutely terrified of what he can do. I got that very clearly. Like, I love, we've already talked about it a little bit, but I love the idea that new types are like being seen as like sort of a what are you
just
doing?
Just keep going. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I kind of like the idea that new types are sort of being treated as like a weapon to like the military, because of course the military is gonna do that, but like they're not actually supposed to be weapons if they're supposed to be anything on like a cosmic sense. So like they keep Amarok like in quarantine basically because they don't know if he's like infectious or not.
Yeah.
Or like if he's just dangerous. They're trying to build sort of replica new types and like enhanced people and stuff, and that like when a new type appears in like any sort of military fashion, like we've got to fast track you to being a pilot because that makes you a really good pilot, and we kind of need really good pilots.
But the Federation also shows like a just distinct lack of knowledge and understanding of what actually makes a new type, which probably also leads into why so many of them are just, you know,
Idiots.
Yeah, idiots, personally dysfunctional, megalomaniacal.
Yeah.
Also, I need to bring this up, sort of not to distract us from Amuro too much, but I love that they keep calling Shiroko the man from Jupiter, and I'm like,
yeah,
I don't think there's colonies that far out.
Okay, yeah,
That's
what is
kind of
happening
far
on Jupiter?
away.
Because that Jupiter has just not been, as far as I remember, mentioned at all across either series at this point. What the fuck's happening over there?
No, because all the colonies are like within a reasonable distance of Earth. Reasonable on like a galactic scale, obviously.
Yeah, like I don't know if they're part of the Earth sphere because they say that like a few times, but like they're certainly in the local area of Earth specifically.
Yeah. This is a thing, I'm trying to remember what the Earth sphere specifically is. Okay, yeah, so the Earth sphere pretty much is the like region of space that the colonies inhabit. So you've got like they're all kind of anchored around the Lagrange points. So you got side 1 and 4 are at Lagrange 5, side 5 is at Lagrange 1, side 2 is on the other side 3 sorry is on the other side of the minute Lagrange 2, side 2 and 3 are Lagrange 4, and side 7 is Lagrange 3. And again, sides are a collection of colonies rather than one distinct colony, which is why you have like side 1 has colony 30, which is the one that got what's it called? Gassed.
Yeah, you know, just a little bit of gassed as a joke.
As a joke, as a treat.
Yeah, as a treat from the Titans. That part has sunk in at this point because we get like Green Noah.
Yeah, that's in side 7.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to say side 7. That has Green Noah 1 and Green Noah 2.
Yeah, they're specifically built by. I believe from the context of the show and what they say in the dialogue, those two were built specifically by the Federation to house the Titans. Or at least Green Noah 2 was. I think Green Noah 1 was occupied by the Titans, which is why everyone's so pissed off.
Yeah, I got the implication I got was that Green Noah 1 was like the residential area where like people actually live and like work and stuff, and like Green Noah 2 is basically a military base.
Yeah. It's another little tick box of like side 7 was where the original Gundam started, and it was a
okay, so it was
colony.
just the same side
it
then.
Was, yeah, different colony. Cool. Because I have to imagine that colony is just uninhabitable now.
At this point, it has to be, yeah.
Because they blew a big hole in it during the the beginning of the show. But yeah, it's another thing of like, you know, the colony that they were on in the beginning of the original series is meant to be a neutral one in that conflict, and yet it has a Earth Federation base that's building the Gundam, and then that gets attacked by the Zeon, and that initiates, you know, the White Base's journey. And now here we have the Titans, and Camille, and now he has a Gundam. Ooh, it's like the other thing.
The Mark II.
The Mark II.
Which, you know, I had a point and I completely lost it. Sorry.
No,
it's fine. I remember my point. My point was I really like getting back to the whole Earth sphere and like every colony sort of being like just still within like reach of Earth. It's something I'm really liking about like this like both series, in that like everything is still relatively close to Earth. It's not like other types of sci-fi where they've got like places all around even just the solar system, because space travel is hard. Even with like more advanced technology than we are close to at this point, space travel is really fucking hard. And just traveling to like a different planet is like a whole expedition and a whole long-term investment, really. And so I like that. Well, Gundam is a mech show, so there is just a little bit of suspension of disbelief in the fact that they're using human-shaped mechs instead of just, like starfighters or whatever. It is really, really cool that like they treat space and like space travel as this really big, important, exhaustive thing. Like just getting off the planet is a whole thing you have to do, that you have to like, that has its risks and stuff as well. That's really cool. Which makes it weird that Shaun and Blex can just teleport between the two at will. But
that does happen between episode like 23 and 24. Quattro, as Char as Quattro joins Camille fighting the Titans, and then suddenly in the next episode is just in Dakar, Senegal for this big Federation thing with Blex. And it's like, okay, I guess that's a thing that happened.
He either unlocked fast travel or there's two of them.
I guess like maybe he took like a smaller craft with Blex and descended in between the two episodes. Like that could be a reasonable explanation. You do see that sort of stuff in other bits of the Gundam universe. So like maybe that's what happened, but it is just funny that it happens with no explanation. There is no connecting tissue to that bit of storytelling. It just is, okay, he's here, now he's here. Up. Yeah. No one in space, on the Argonaut, on the other ship, makes mention of the fact that he's not around, that he went there.
Yeah. So we just sort of cut to him in Africa, and it's like, oh, you're just here now. Okay.
Yeah, because like I remember I was talking to you about like, oh, we don't really see inside the like lunar cities at all. Like we see exterior shots of Granada and then later Von Braun, and we see like that they get attacked. We hear that Scirocco's descended into Von Braun, but we never really see that. We never really see, except the spaceport, and we hear for Granada and Amman, the other one, which I don't even think we see an exterior of Amman. It just gets mentioned a few times. And then, that episode that I said that about, they went into Von Braun City, and like because it takes a while for Camille to go into Von Braun, and they're like setting it up as like, oh, he's going in to check the forces that are there, how many mobile suits, the pilots, blah, blah, blah. And, like, during this, it's cutting between him and Char. And I'm like, do the lunar cities have skies? Do they have, like, something in them to give them the false appearance of having a sky? Because I was like, maybe Char's in Von Braun?
I kind of got that too for a little bit. I don't think I ever got confused on if Char was there, but I did get the sense that like there's got to be some sort of artificial thing happening on like Von Braun to make it look a lot more like an Earth or colony city.
Yeah, but then we actually get into the colony with Camille, and no, it just has a roof and a couple of windows.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I seen like them leaving the hotel or whatever, and it had the word Dakar on it, and I'm like, oh, they're on Earth. Oh, okay. That makes no sense, but sure.
Yeah. Anyway, the big point to all this is that it's really cool that like this series treats space travel as like this big thing that you can't really go that far realistically in a realistic time frame. So what the fuck's happening on Jupiter?
Yeah, I do not know. I'm gonna Google this and see if there's some kind of Sirocco, the man from Jupiter. Because this is confusing me.
Is it just a nickname because he seems so mysterious and alien almost? I believe it.
It could be. Maybe that's just the explanation. Originally a member of the Federation's Jupiter Energy Fleet, Scirocco is often known as the man from Jupiter. Okay,
well, that's not confusing at all in casual conversation.
The Jupiter Energy Fleet was launched in 2026 AD.
Huh.
Oh, to collect hydrogen, helium, and methane from the Jovian atmosphere of planet Jupiter. That's got to have taken a long time.
Yeah, that's like a huge investment.
Because they established that, like, even as far back as 0079, that by side one being on the other side of the planet, pretty much from the rest of the colonies, puts it in the position of feeling the most isolated. And that's what leads to their ideological difference of we should have the right to self-determination, we should have independence, we should be our own nation state. And so, like, just that little detail of, like, just by being on the other side of a planet makes the travel distance and communication distance and interactions so difficult, because this world is so grounded in making things feel that kind of realistic as to, like, if we had these colonies, what would the challenges be? I'm sorry, you're taking a trip to Jupiter?
It's just a casual trip to Jupiter.
Maybe it was like a 3-year, 4-year thing that had to be done, you know?
Had to have been.
But yeah, there's no real explanation. Also, AD's throwing me off because they don't use the AD calendar at all. So that's weird.
Yeah.
But anyway,
interested to see where his character goes, at least.
Yeah. Are there any other points? Sorry, we were talking about Amuro before we got distracted, and I said I wasn't going to distract us from Amuro.
I mean, to be fair, it makes sense. Amuro is, like, he's here, but, like, he's not really a focus much. Like, he does become a bit of a focus when he, like, actually gets on the Argama. When he gets on the Argama and he's, like, actually interacting with, like, all the other pilots and stuff, but he's also in a sort of, like, a little bit of an angst state.
Yeah. It doesn't help that Biltarchka is just, you know, her about everything.
She's awful, isn't she?
She is just terrible.
Also, I am just straight up gonna call her Belle for sure. I don't care if that's wrong or whatever. I'm just calling her Belle.
She just sucks as a character.
Yeah.
She just keeps.
Why is she like the go-to love interest for Amuro this time?
I don't know. He didn't have anyone left from White Base. Okay, no, he did have someone left from White Base because they straight up mention Sayla, and we never see her here.
I thought she was gonna pop up at some point. She gets a picture, which is, you know, cute. Like a nice character moment for Shari, still acknowledging her as existing. But like, I'm kind of expecting her to. I was kind of expecting her to show up, and I actually did just like Google, like, does she actually show up at some point? Because I gotta know. No, she doesn't.
She doesn't show up again until like one episode near the very end of Double Zeta, just to set up Char's counterattack.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I
want to know what she's doing. She's kind of an important character to the whole setup of everything.
Yeah. Like the fact that she is Char's sister, you know, like that alone should have some kind of more presence for her, other than a picture.
At least on an emotional level.
Yeah, but she's, other than that one interaction between, I think it's Frau and Amuro, where she mentions Sayla as like potentially a romantic interest for him, she's never brought up again. And then Beltorchika shows up.
Stupid. Hate it. Don't like it. Especially that would have been a good opportunity because there's so much fucking drama you could have with that whole situation.
And also, like, it would make sense because they kind of set that up in the original series, that there was something between Sayla and Amuro. It's not to the extent of the novelization where Tomino, for some reason, wrote that Sayla gives Amuro some of her pubes. I don't know why he did that, but, you know.
Huh?
Yeah, that's a thing that happens, and I don't know why. Tomino is a freak. Just...
Can we just put in, like, the gif right now in the video of, like, Bright doing the fucking blink stare? Like, what? That moment made me wheeze. I had to bring it up. I'm sorry. It's like, Emma just says, oh, you know, Camille just has a natural attraction to me, and he's just like, Mitch, what? I didn't fucking get that at all. What are you talking about?
Because there is nothing about Camille's interactions with Emma that he is remotely interested in her in any way. And like, not even in a motherly
Emma
sense.
Just trying to make herself feel like better or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone else is just like, what are you talking about?
And then she immediately is like to Bright, you need to be his father figure. And like, Bright's had enough of that shit on White Base.
Yeah, okay, so first off, bullshit that you're saying you can't be a mother figure, but like, he has to be a father figure. That's just the natural order of things. Fuck you, that's gender rules. Secondly, Bright would be a terrible father figure just overall.
The thing is, he has kids.
I know he has kids.
And it's not present.
That's great. That's great for Mirai. I love that for Mirai. She seems to care about those kids. Bright is a terrible father figure. All he does is just slap people.
Yeah.
That's not healthy.
Don't worry, we will come back to Hathaway later. Much later.
Yeah.
But later.
I did note that was one of the kids' names. I thought it was the daughter at first, but I think it's the son now.
Yeah, the daughter's Chi Emin, which I was like... They showed up, and I was like, oh yeah, Hathaway's here, little fucker. And then I was like, wait, he has a sister? And I immediately had to Google, and I was like, oh, Chi Emin just never shows up again. It's like, no wonder I forgot she existed. There's a whole thing focused on Hathaway, and yet they never mention Chi Emin in it. And I'm like, okay, then.
Yeah, I noted Hathaway's name like immediately because I know there's like another thing called Hathaway later on, way later on. Yeah, as I'm sure it's a recent thing, I think.
Yeah, the second movie's was just in American theaters.
Okay.
With Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses is the ending theme, which still just knocks me the fuck out for some reason.
Okay, I only noted that was a thing because of fucking Letterboxd, because I knew the viewer Prof did it like in the last few months.
Yeah, Prof went to see it in the theaters when it was over in the States.
Shout out, by the way.
Yeah, friend of the show who's been on a previous episode. So yeah, that's gonna be a trilogy. The first one came out in 2020. We're just now getting the second movie 6 years later. So who knows when we'll get.
When are we gonna get the third movie?
Hell knows. I do appreciate them taking the time with it though, because even just the first one was like probably the best that a Gundam has looked in a long time since they switched to how they switched up how they did some of the animation stuff, like switching to the CG for the mechs instead of hand-drawn animation was sort of kind of iffy at first. Unicorn's a great OVA, but it's a bit odd because of the CG mechs, because it was 2000 and I think it started in 2007 and ended in 2010. So, you know, still early enough that like, you know, they hadn't quite nailed it yet.
Yeah, you know, it's still working out the kinks.
Yeah. But no, Hathaway looks amazing, and it's shaping up to be a really interesting story. However, that's for way later. Yeah,
that's for way later. We can't even begin to talk about that right now. We haven't even done is it Double Zeta that's after
Double
this?
Zeta that's after this, yeah. An immediate.
Which I've heard mixed
follow-up.
things about from you.
Look, some of it is the best Gundam that exists. The problem is that the rest of it is the worst Gundam that exists. And so we're just going to have to contend with that when we get to it, which is why I'm partially thinking once we've done Zeta, it might be a good idea just to go straight into Double Zeta so that we're not creating the foreboding sense.
Yeah, like if that's something that's going to happen, I want it done just as quick as possible, just to get over with. And I am actually interested in just what Char's counterattack is, just from the name.
Yeah.
Because that title has just been haunting me since we watched the original trilogy. So...
And, you know, I think it would make a little bit of a good, you know, if we did... We're obviously going to finish up Zeta pretty soon. Then if we did Double Zeta, we could just watch Char's counterattack. And if we wanted to take a break from Gundam, that's, like, the perfect place to take a break.
Okay,
because
cool.
that's the original Tomino-led, like, story of Gundam. That's... Until they started doing the OVAs and all the spin-offs and stuff, that was it. That was Gundam.
Okay, so it's like... the original story, basically,
yeah.
quote unquote.
So yeah, we'd be talking a lot longer than I thought we would for just the first half of this show.
I was scared we wouldn't have enough to talk about because usually when we're like watching the first half of a show, we can sometimes fall into a trap of like we set the foundational things, but now we don't really know what to say because a lot of the stuff hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad actually that we've talked a lot for a bit and we had a lot to say.
Yeah. Because I was worried because, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's like it kind of feels like a lot's happened, but when you actually kind of break down some of the story beat elements of it, like not a lot's happened because so much of it's character focused, but I think we managed to really go over like a lot of the character stuff that actually happens without getting into too much of the minutia, because sometimes the show does get caught up in the minutia of it.
Yeah, and I hate that like sometimes I just want to skip forward to when it gets interesting again.
Yeah, there's some episodes where you're like, okay, I appreciate getting to see everyone just on the ship interacting. However, nothing of meaning is actually happening between any of these characters. I just want to see the big fucking robots hit each other.
Yeah, like, boo, when are we gonna get to the fighting?
So yeah, I guess that brings us close to this episode, unless there's anything else you want to bring up.
I feel like there's probably little kernels that like we could go on to like big fucking tangents about, but I don't think there's anything of worthwhile to like talk about. I guess what I'm looking forward to, like as the newcomer, like on where it could be going. I'm very interested. Again, I hate that Char's the most interesting character and that I want to see more of him, because we have a little in-joke where like because you and like people I follow just bring up Char all the fucking time as like their special interest.
Yeah.
I've come to hate the character just on that sort of thing. And I hate that like he's the most interesting character in the show, because when he's actually there, I kinda get it.
You're what was I said the other day? You're coming around slowly, but you're coming around.
But like my thing right now is I'm gonna be a tsundere to this little shit. Like I don't like you, but you're the most interesting person here, so I'm following you, but like don't take it personally. I'm really interested to see, now that he's sort of been appointed the leader of the Anti-Earth Union, it's kind of, I want to see where that goes. Like, how does he take that? Like, there is a small part in the back of my head, like, and this is when he does the reveal that he wants to rebirth Zeon in his own image.
Nah,
I know. It would be very much against the character that he has been throughout this series. It's just, you know, that little echo of who he used to be is in the back of my head, and I'm like, I'm holding the gun to him like, if you move any wrong way, I'm gonna shoot you. Which, to be fair, I feel like Amuro's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
When he's not daydreaming about him. There's tension there.
There is.
There's like clear tension there.
Yeah.
I guess I'm interested to see where Camille goes
Mhm.
from here. I hope he stops being an impulsive little shit.
I mean, he's learned largely to stop doing that. It's now Fa.
Oh yeah,
that's
he's got a lot better
suddenly-
since the first episode.
Yeah, now it's Fa that's doing all that shit, and it's like, okay, we just got rid of one of them. I don't need another one to start doing it.
I kind of love that they're just grouchy little shits to each other, like, whenever they're nearby. It is kind of funny.
Just they're like two cats that just suddenly just can't resist fighting each other the moment that they're nearby.
Yeah, I love characters like that, not gonna lie. It's one of my character guilty pleasures. Just two characters that, like, independently are kind of just normal, but, like, you put them together and they're just chaos. I feel like that's like the two characters I guess I'm most interested to see going forward. I hope Amuro does something interesting soon.
I don't think Amuro shows up again.
Fuck.
Because he's on Earth. He's stayed behind. I don't think he shows up again, but I could be wrong. I might not be remembering something that does happen later.
Damn.
So yeah, end of part 1 of
I
Zeta
guess that's my
Gundam.
closing statements.
Yeah. I'm surprised we got like an almost 90-minute episode out of this, to be honest. I thought it would have been I was worried it would have been another like repeating ourselves or going over sort of like some of the same points and stuff like that, but no, there was a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be sure.
It didn't feel like filler.
Yeah. I know there will be more to talk about next time when we come back to Zeta Gundam, which will be next month. Should things go according to plan, who knows, maybe it'll get rushed up the schedule depending if things don't work out, but for now it should be July. Getting a month ahead of myself.
We're not that far ahead.
Yeah. For part 2. And then yeah. So we will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, you will see the tears of time. Bye-bye.
Bye.